Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 24. So in last episode, we had the year 13 draft, and I would say it was probably one of our better drafts, to be honest. Even though we were drafting as late as we were drafting 24th overall, we managed to draft some okay players and really didn't have any misses, I would say, because Ichiro Ishii looks like he's going to be a solid starting pitcher prospect, 66 at 19 with 89 potential, so very nice steal there, especially as late as it was in the first round. We also got Charles Chang, who's a little bit more of a project starting pitcher, but does have potential to become at least like a number 5 guy, I'd say. We also drafted Jason Yamashita, and I think he's probably the best steal we got of the draft. 68 at 18 with 78 potential, so his potential is not super high, but being that good of an overall at 18, he should be in line for some potential boosts if he hits well, which he has good contact against righties, so I'm hoping that obviously that in his vision goes a long way in double and triple A. We also drafted Peter Nakamura, who's more of a project player again, but once again, he's only 18 years old with 85 potential, so that's nice. Also, Albert Takahashi, who's 53 at 18 with 77 potential, will be useful down the road, which is nice because him and Yamashita are both in areas we need. We also drafted relief pitcher Charles Matsui. He looks okay. And then Norioka is probably the worst of the bunch in terms of our picks, but he was 21 years old. Only a 48, but he has 74 potential, so he could still be a catcher of the future or like a number 3 catcher in the lineup, number 2 catcher, something like that. So in general, I was really happy with how our draft ended up compared to some other teams around the league. So yeah, it was a very good draft for our team, which is nice to see because obviously we need those prospects just in case our team isn't able to win a World Series before some of the other guys decide to start leaving our roster. So very excited that we had a good draft and very excited for the rest of the season. As you can see, we are 66 and 44. So we should be able to maybe hit like 100 wins this season, depending on how the rest of the season shapes up. But I think this team is definitely on pace to do at least as good as last year, maybe even better during the regular season. I think we could also get past the ALDS this year. I think we could get to an ALCS, or we could even get to a World Series if our team is good enough, because we have now the top pitching team. We're the top power team. We're 9th in contact, so our contact has definitely improved a lot since last year. Also, our defense has improved a bit, and our speed is also improved a little bit too. So I definitely think since we have good contact, power, and pitching, that should win us most games. Obviously, our defensive rating is not the best, but I think if it's just solid enough, it should be able to help us out a little bit. And then the speed threat is kind of low, which kind of sucks, but at the same time, we are a good team in terms of, I believe, stealing bases. Like, I believe there was somebody that was good on our roster, if I remember right, that could steal bases. If I look at our player stats here, actually, maybe not. We do have a couple of good guys over 10 stolen bases, but nobody insanely huge in terms of that. But I believe, yeah, we have a lot of guys that could hit doubles. So doubles, at least we could hit those. Triples, we don't really get a ton of, so we're not going to be getting like guys with inside the park home runs, that type of thing. But when William Chung, who's on the bench, has tied for the most triples on the team, that's a good thing. So maybe we want to get Chung into the lineup at some point as a full-time roster player, probably as early as next season if our team doesn't win a World Series this season. But anyways, let's get into your guys' comments now and see what you guys have to say about last episode, and then we will get into simulating the rest of the season. We also got to make some September call-ups, which should be interesting to see who ends up getting called up and helping this team out down the stretch. So the first comment is from Nick Bucker Barons OC, who says, draft class looks like it's one of the strongest we've had. And I totally agree. I think this is definitely one of the best drafts we've had, which is kind of weird just because we didn't draft super high up. So we just didn't have a lot of pressure on us to actually perform. So I think this draft was definitely one of the best ones we've had in terms of depth. And then if you compare it to like some other teams, you could see some other teams had some really good drafts as well. But you also had some teams like with some pretty mid drafts, like I believe, who was it that had a really bad draft? I mean, this draft by the Brewers was kind of mid, to be honest, but they still had a lot of green. Like most teams didn't hit a single yellow player, or a lot of yellow players, I should say. There was a couple teams, I believe, that had really bad ones. Like the Yankees had definitely the worst draft, I would say, with their 4 yellows. So yeah, they didn't really do good at all, but you can see compared to some other teams in the league, we did pretty well considering we didn't have anybody that was a deep potential. So at least we managed to not go with, or we went without drafting a deep potential player. In the last and final comment is from Ryan the Shark. He says, Louise inspection. Yes, I'm still reminding you about that. And he literally commented that like 1 minute before I started recording today's episode. So that's kind of hilarious. So let's go take a look at Louis and Louise. And yeah, those were the comments we got in the last episode. So let's go search here and find those two guys and see what they have been up to as of late, because I don't think we checked them in a few years. So Lewis is up to a 67 overall at 24, with still his C potential. He is currently in AAA for the Baltimore Orioles. I don't remember what their AAA affiliate is called, but that's where he is. It looks like the Tides. Oh, it might be the Norfolk Tides, if I remember right. I think that's what they're called. So yeah, he's looking like this. I don't know if he's going to make the majors at his range, but he's a decent overall, so there is a chance he could make it maybe in the next few years, depending on how good their center fielding depth is. And then let's also search for the next one, which is Luis. It's kind of funny how there's literally two of those guys in the series. So Luis is still in Seattle's affiliate with the Rainers. And he's a 67 at 22, so they're both the exact same overall. His potential has also gone up, so both of them have the same potential, same overall, but Luis is like 2 years younger, so it'll be interesting to see if he develops into being a relief pitcher for them. But I'm kind of surprised his potential went up, because obviously we do not give potential changes to any AI players that are on other teams, but this guy managed to get himself a potential boost, I guess, just based on how he played. So shout out to Luis and Lewis. All right, so there's that. I think we're ready to get simulating. We are how close to September already? We're a month away. So I guess what we're going to do, we'll probably just focus still on the majors, of course, but we'll definitely keep a tight eye on double and triple A, which end in September, just because obviously we want to take a look at the player stats for those leagues as well. But we'll focus on the MLB because obviously we are at the stage where we want to focus on winning in the MLB more than anything else. Okay, so we got 2 more games against the Blue Jays, and then we got 3 against Seattle, 2 against Baltimore this week as well. So let's just go through the series against Toronto, see how we finished off that series. Stanley Suzuki has a knee sprain. He's only out for how long? For a few days. That's not too bad, but that kind of sucks. Tom Koo is no longer injured. I forgot that Tom Koo was coming back so soon. We do lose 3-2 in that game to Toronto, but let me just make sure Tom Koo is back in his normal spot, which is actually as the closing pitcher for this team. So we'll swap him and Vincent Chang back. So Tom Koo back in to help us close out some games, which is exciting, because Tom Koo has been a very solid relief pitcher / closer. And we do lose the other game, so we actually end up losing that series to Toronto. So we've lost 2 games to start this episode, which is not a great sign, but that's okay. Still early on in the episode. Let's get through 3 games against Seattle. We win the first one. Stanley Suzuki's back. We'll go auto on that. Tom Chen is not in the majors, I believe. We swept Seattle, so that's nice. Nice little sweep of the Seattle Mariners. We win every single game 6-1. That's kind of weird. I don't think I've ever seen that where we outscored a team the exact same in every single game. All right, and we have 2 against Baltimore here to wrap up the week. We lost the first one, but won the second one 12-5. Wow. So we're up to 70 wins on the season. Our win percentage has dropped off a little bit, but it'll probably get back up soon. But the defensive numbers are still going up. We were 17th to start this episode. Now we're up to 14th best defensive team. So if we are lucky, having good defense or average defense with that offense and that pitching, we should be able to win. The speed doesn't matter that much, but obviously it could help out a little bit more. But we are going up in defense, which is great. So let's go through another week. We have 1 more game against Baltimore, 3 more against the Blue Jays, and 3 against Detroit. So let's see if we could win some more games. We win the first game of the week, or actually it was technically at the end of the last week. Walter Choi was not in the MLB, I don't think. We lose 3 straight games, but then we win 3 straight games. So we got swept by the Blue Jays, which is kind of crazy. And then we end up winning 4-2, 12-3, and 5-1. So we've definitely won the series against Detroit, but up to 74 and 50. Still have fallen off a little bit in win percentage, but it's not a huge issue. Defense fell back to 15th. Speed fell back to 23rd. So our speed definitely is not a great thing, but at least everything else is top 15, which is awesome. So impressed with that. All right, let's continue simulating. We have 1 more game against Detroit. Can we sweep this series against them? No, we cannot. We lose that last game, of course. 6-4 in that one, so not too bad. We do got 3 games against the Reds, who are below 500. Can we do good against them? Probably, right? Yamazaki's been injured for 1 to 2 weeks. That's not good. That's one of our best players, of course. 1 to 2 weeks at least he'll be back for the playoffs, but we do lose that last game against Cincy. Let me go to the lineup here. So Yamazaki getting injured is quite not good. Can William Chung play first base? No, he can't. Can William A. Bayek? No, he cannot. Taguchi cannot play first base. Who can play first base out in this lineup? Is there anybody that can? Tom Lee technically can. Theodore Lee's actually playing first base. Never mind. We don't need a first baseman. It was a... What was he playing? Oh, yeah. I guess it was catcher technically. So we would have to get... Hideki Takahashi could go in as the catcher, I guess. And then we will put Chung as the DH or something like that. Yeah, we'll do something like that just to see what we could do with our lineup. So we will get Chung in as the DH. Just because Chung has been really good off the bench, so might as well do something like that while we have that injury to Yamazaki. Because Yamazaki's been really good this year, so losing him kind of sucks, but at least he gives a chance to some guys on the bench. And yeah, our win percentage has dropped to a 594. So yeah, we're definitely kind of struggling here in this episode a little bit, but at least we're still the best team by 5 games. And we're still we're still a lot of games up on most teams, so I don't feel too questionable about that. Our defense is falling back a little bit more again. It's down to 16th because Yamazaki's injury probably. Let's go through these 2 games against the Twins. Win 1 and lose 1, 77 and 53. All right, still really good record. So we are sliding a bit, but I expect once we do the September call-ups, we'll be doing a lot better probably because the September call-ups usually help out our team a lot. So 5-4 win there. We've got 3 more against Kansas City, who's also below 500. Can we win against them? Yes, we can. We sweep them. We have now won a total of 5 games in a row, so the team's all of a sudden turning it on. We got 2 against Houston, who's trying to get back into the playoff mix, it looks like. They are above 500, but they're 11 games back of us, and they're not in a playoff spot at the moment, which is interesting. So can we beat them here? We lose the first one, and we lose the second. That's not great. If Houston gets back into the playoff mix, they're going to win the World Series, I feel like, again. So hopefully they don't get back into that mix. Okay, we should be getting Yamazaki back relatively soon, I think, from injury, if I remember right. Let's see. 1 to 6 days. Okay, that's not too bad. At least it was not a long-term injury, because if it was a long-term injury, it would kind of suck. We do need to do our September call-ups, though, now. Which means we need to call up a couple people. We need to call up, like, 2 to 3 players, I think, if I remember right. So, for sure, the one guy I want to call up is relief pitcher Walter Cho. He's been fantastic so far in AAA. So, he's going to get the call up here. And, yeah, he'll help us out in terms of pitching a little bit. We also need to call up one more player, I think, at least, if I'm not mistaken. Who else is not on our MLB roster at the moment that could be? David Nah. I mean, David Nah's been good, but I don't really need to call up multiple pitchers. Walter Choi. Walter Choi's batting at 281. He's actually been pretty good. He's also in an area of need because we do need center fielders a little bit. That could also help us become a better defensive team too. So, you know what? We'll call up Walter Choi because he's having a good year in AAA. And that is all we're going to call up, I think. I think that's all I need to call up, right? I might be over the player limit. We'll see once we go through this game. We actually did not need to call him up, I guess. Well, that kind of sucks. So, Walter Choi, does he go through waivers now because of that? He does. Jeez, man. Because I made a mistake. Oh, boy. Do I want to send him down? I think he would get claimed. Is there anybody else I would send down for the time being? Probably not. Who has also minor league options that I don't need to use? I don't think there's anybody else. I mean, there's William A. Bayek, who has been struggling, actually, to be honest. He's only batting at 209. But we do need shortstops. Actually, we have Oka. I could send down William A. Bayek. You know what? I'm going to send down William A. Bayek as the other option just because I don't want to get the other guy claimed. So we'll send William A. Bayek down. And that should be good now, hypothetically. We have one more pitcher than we're supposed to, so we couldn't even call up the relief pitcher. Is there any pitchers I would send down that have been really bad? Vincent Chang has been not the best, to be honest. Do I send him down to get some, a little bit of confidence back? These relievers have been all pretty good. Trying to think here. Looking at those stats. Kazuhito Hayashi still has a lot yet to lose a game. What the hell? He's 20-0. That's insane. I mean, Kenny Rabu hasn't been good, but he's one of our starters. So I think I'm going to send down Vincent Chang, even though he's been a rookie. We're going to send him back down to AAA just to gain his confidence back a little bit. I think that's what we're going to do here. And we need to make our lineups adjusted again, of course. So we will get in, this is a shortstop spot, so we'll get Oka into this part. Just because Oka, even though he's not good against lefties, he's the only shortstop that we have other than that. So we'll do that. And then our pitching rotation should be pretty much still the exact same, right? Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Yeah, with Tom Kubin back, might as well send down Vincent Chang, you know. And we do beat the Astros in that game, which is nice. Aviators also need an adjusted lineup, of course. So let's go back to AAA. We'll get William A. Bayak in here. Playing, actually not shortstop. Dusty Kim's in that spot. I don't want to move Dusty Kim out of that spot. I could move Dusty Kim to second or third base. Let's move Dusty Kim to third base. We'll take Michael Wong out of the lineup. And we will put in Philip Nishi. Sure. Any way to get both these guys into the lineup is what we're going to do, basically. So, Abaya could play second base. We will put him in for Michael Wong again, and we'll take Michael Wong out for Philip Nishi. Perfect. There you go. So now AAA should be good to ready to go. Let's see. AA ends on the 14th. Okay. So we could go to the 14th. So let's go through this week of action. Yamazaki is back, which is great. Let me just adjust our lineup. With Yamazaki being in, he's already into that spot. Takahashi's back on the bench. I think that's good. I think that is good. Perfect. Okay. Yamazaki's up to a 97. No, it's just kind of crazy. So no wonder we lost some games with him being out. We must have 28 players. Wait, what? Oh, that was the 31st of August. So now we could actually call up those players for the September call-ups. I was confused for some reason. So now we could call back up William A. Bayak if we really want to. We have Walter Choi up here already, who's already got a run in a 333 average. That's not bad. So I guess we will probably call back up William A. Bayak for sure. So move him to the MLB. We need 2 more players, and they cannot be pitchers, because or else we would be over the pitcher amount in the MLB, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So who else do we want to call up that's on our 40-man? Who else is going to come up? Vincent Chang will stay down there again in the minors for a little bit. We could call him up, but I don't really know if he'll say I have too much pitchers again. Let's see. David Nah. No, don't want you to call you up. Michael Wong. I mean, you're technically a bench guy right now. You aren't doing the best in AAA either. Robert Matsui, don't want to call you up. Robert Yabu has been fantastic. He's going to get the call up as well to the MLB. And we just need one more player. I mean, Raymond Park's doing good, but he hasn't been good in the majors in the past. There's also Richard Chen, who's getting close, but not ready yet. Let's just go with, for the other one. Actually, it says we have 27 and 28, but other parts is 28. Is there... Oh, there was still an injury, right? Was there still an injury? Oh, yeah, Kevin Sato. So technically, we do have enough. Kevin Sato will be back in 2 to 3 weeks. I don't think I need to call up any more players, but it might tell me I still need to. Yeah, we still need to call up one more player. Okay. Somebody will have to get sent back down, though, once Sato is back, which means I probably will call up William A. Bayak again. I know we just literally sent him back down. He did already get called back up again. What the heck? That's weird. I thought I didn't call him back up again. That's strange. Okay, well, I guess we'll call up somebody else then. Who else do we want to call up for the time being that I don't care about maybe losing on waivers or something like that, or has minor league options at least? Tom Cho has been really good, actually. We could call him up for the time being, but I don't know if he's actually on my 40-man. I don't think he is. Let's see. Is he on my 40-man roster? No, he is not. Do we have spaces on our 40-man roster? We have 39, 40. No, we actually have exactly 40. Raymond Park still has minor league options, so we'll call him up, even though he's not been a good major leaguer. We'll call him up while we basically wait for the return of Kevin Sato. That's basically why he's coming up for the time being. All right, we have called up our players. Let's go through this week, see how we do. We lose one there, we win one there. AAA needs more players on their roster, of course. So now we need to move players from AA. AA to the AAA roster. So we'll just move a couple low-end talent guys like Darren Hoffman. Kana Fong could get moved up as well. And we'll also move David. Actually, that might be okay. And we'll move these guys to AA for the time being, just to make sure we have enough players in each league. Perfect. Okay. Now we could finally probably get through this part. And apparently they do not have valid lineups. Goddamn, man. This is such a task, just adjusting this every time. What do we need here? Shortstop. We don't have a guy that actually can play shortstop, so we'll have to just throw somebody randomly in who has a good arm and good fielding. Probably we're looking at, let's just put Zoo there because I don't want to stun anybody else's growth. So just throw Zoo in those spots for AA, AAA. They need a bunch of things. We'll just put these guys in random spots for the time being. Michael Wong will go into second base, and we still need a first baseman. I'll just go with Kana Fong could play first base probably. I don't even know. Anybody could play first base. Come on. Yeah, I'll just go with that. Sure. Just got to get everybody into the lineup. What the heck was that I just did? Third base. That's second base, right? No, that's shortstop. Ah, there you go. I don't really care about some of these guys too much, so that's why I'm just throwing them in randomly. There we go. We should be good now. We should be good. There we go. And we're still winning a lot of games. We're still doing good as of late. 86-57 on the season. We are now over a 600 win percentage, so now we've improved since the start of this episode, which is good. And our defense has fallen off a cliff again. It was 15th, and now it fell all the way back to 22nd, probably because of injuries and stuff. I honestly don't know. And then our speed has improved a bit with those call-ups, which is interesting. AA ends in a week or so, so let's get through the rest of their AA season as well. Still being a little bit streaky, 3-3, 89-60 now on the year. Yeah, we definitely are going to be a playoff team for sure at this rate. I'm really hoping that we could hit 100 wins, but it might be tough still, just the way we've been playing. Let's get AA done, because AA is done their season now. Of a nice 11-1 win. They won 25-44 this season, which is not too bad. We are now 90-60 in the MLB, which means we need to win only 10 more games to hit 100 wins. But let's take a look at our AA player stats, just because obviously we want to wrap up their season. So Akio Yamamoto was getting used as a starter, but he was a reliever, and he looked actually pretty decent. Won a lot of games, had a good ERA, good whip. The quality starts, he didn't have a lot, but quality starts don't really matter that much, is what you guys were saying. So not too bad looking from Akio. Michael Yamamoto didn't have a good time as a starter, that's for sure. Yeah, he had a rough time. He did have more quality starts, but I don't think that matters that much. In terms of the relievers, Alan Chan was really good. He had a good ERA, good whip, really good record. Charles Nakamura was good as well. Tom Chen was kind of mixed. He was probably one of the worst relief pitchers. I don't know why he's not in as a starter. I thought I had him in as a starter at one point. Vincent Wong was really good. All right. Richard Cho was not very good. William Fong was really good. Hiroyuki Yamada was fantastic. Wan Yong Chang was really good as well, but he only played 36 innings, but he had less than a 1 ERA. So our pitchers definitely did well in Double-A for the most part. In terms of the lineup itself, William B. Bayak batted at 234. Not the best. Robert Iwamer had a 251, which is okay compared to some guys on the team. He's up to a 68 at 20. His contact for his lefties has dropped off a lot, which kind of sucks because he's a good contact hitter. So hopefully he makes the majors at some point. Russell Lim at 311 was fantastic this season. Like to see that. Sal Chen on a 271 is also pretty good. David Koo on a 219 is absolutely atrocious. He doesn't have much potential anyways, but damn, he was bad. Jungwoo An was good at 282 average. Brian Hugh was not very good at 229. Chang Ho Chu at 265, pretty good. Pretty good for one of our better prospects, up to a 69 at 20. So he's getting close to being major league bound. And that's pretty much it in terms of those guys. In terms of bench players, Stanley Suzuki at 239. Not bad, but not great. Jeffrey Saito at 257. That's okay. For a bench kind of guy, I will take it, especially considering he's only a deep potential. So, not too bad. Hitoki Yamaguchi only got to play 5 at-bats because he got called up from single A to double A. He didn't hit a single ball, but I don't think I would downgrade him just because of that. So there is the end of the double A season. Triple A should end a week later. Yes, it does. We are going to focus on the MLB, though, while we get to that point. Let's go through another 5 games. We got 3 against the Yankees, 2 against the Angels. And Kevin Sato is back. That's huge for our team's confidence. Kevin Sato back in the lineup. Nomo is going to be back to catcher, not to catcher, to DH. That's what it is going to be. There you go. We got to get our lineup back to the way it was. Perfect. Yep, that's good. And we'll get William A. Bayak back on the lefties stuff because that's where he was before. Alright, so 90 and 62, 3 more games. Sato being back is nice. We are over the roster limit is what I was expecting, which means we are going to send down the guy that I called up only just basically because we needed a roster player. And that was Wong, I believe, right? Was it Wong? Raymond Park, that's who it was. So Raymond Park's going to go back down to triple. Boom. And now we are back to our roster, which is good. Let's go through 3 games. We win 2 of them, lose 1. And we got 1 more game to go through before we take a look at AAA's stats. And we lose that one as well. AAA actually finished 80 and 70, but they did not make the playoffs. That's actually kind of impressive that AAA was above 500 because I don't think they've been above 500 too often. And we're now 92 and 64 in the MLB. I don't know if we're going to hit 100 wins. We are going to be probably pretty close to last year's totals, my guess. But let's go to AAA. Take a look at what happened down there. So David Na was solid. He's actually pretty okay. He could come back up to the majors at some point, but I'm not too sure because he's not a great major league pitcher. Robert Matsui is also very good. Very good stats from Robert Matsui. He is on the drop-off, though, apparently, but he had a great year. Douglas Takahashi, solid numbers, losing record, but below 4 ERA is good. Yeah, it's not bad considering I think this was his rookie season. Richie Chen, not the best. Stuart Chow was okay. He had 100 strikeouts. I'd like to see that. Then in terms of the bullpen, Irabu was solid. David Lim was solid too. Austin Choi, not too bad. Pete Kuo was actually pretty good. Walter Lee was fantastic, but he did only pitch 45 innings. Tom On was good. And Vincent Chang, since getting sent back down, was really good. We could always call him back up, but I don't think we have enough pitcher spots to call him back up. But he's getting a little bit of a trial run back in AAA, kind of getting his confidence going again. He could come back up at some point, but I'm not too sure if he'll come back up this season. But yeah, he'll definitely be back in the major leagues next season at least. In terms of the batting order, 261 for Tom Cho, not bad. Michael Wong on a 230, okay. Darren Hoffman had a 209, but obviously just got through into the lineup, so that doesn't matter at all. Dusty Kim at 217. Not the best for Dusty. He's a good power hitter, though, so that's why he has 12 home runs. But, yeah, his stats weren't the best this year. This was one of his early seasons in his career, so he's still young, but obviously he needs to do better. His power dropped off by 12 against lefties, which is not good, so Yeah, Dusty Kim having a little bit of regression already. Richard Chen on a 257 as the DH is pretty good. I like that. Kana Fong on a 333 through 21 at bats is also decent. Tadahito Taguchi at 251. I'll take that. Russell Yang of 243. It's unfortunate Russell never panned out. He's got okay contact hitting, but he doesn't put it to use. And then Philton Ishii at 231. Jeff Ishii at 202. Raymond Park at 236. It's not bad. Brian Shin at 256. And that's it for AAA. So AAA not as good of stats, but they almost did make it to the playoffs, which is nice. All right, now we can focus back on our Major League team. We only have two more series left. So the most wins we could finish with is 98. So we are going to be less wins regardless than last year. But we have probably clinched a playoff spot because of that, right? Yep, we've clinched a playoff spot. But have we clinched our division? I think that series against Texas actually is going to make a big difference. Yeah, that could actually decide who wins the division. We have 3 against Houston. This is going to be tough as well. We lose 2, win 1. Oh, the Rangers are only 4 games back of us, but we have 3 games against them left. I don't think they have any more games after that. So we have officially clinched the division, which is great. And we've also clinched the best record in the league? Or what? Because it says we have the Z, so we might have clinched the best record in the league despite having a rough second half. That's interesting. Anyways, let's get through these 3 games against Texas. And we do sweep them. So we finished 96-66. It is a little bit of a downfall from last year in terms of record, but that is a great season for this team. We will be playing basically the winner of Houston and Texas. So we are going to be playing a divisional team regardless from the wild card. Houston's a good team, and they are in a wild card spot, which is kind of scary. And in Texas also, we just swept them, but who knows what happens in the playoffs. Let's take a look at our player stats from the MLB team. So, Parker Iwamura was fantastic. He only had an 11-11 record, so his win-loss ratio wasn't great. But his ERA was good. His whip was good. He started 33 games, had 20 quality starts, which is really, really good. Not as good as last year, obviously, but still pretty good. And, yeah, his FIP numbers were pretty similar to last year, too. So, yeah, Iwamura had another really good year, which is what you like to see. He's only got 2 more years left on his contract, I think, which is kind of insane. Stan Nguyen, 11-7, solid ERA, solid whip. Not the best year from Stan by comparison to some of his other years, but still good numbers. 17 quality starts, and his FIP was just below 4, so it might have been one of his worst seasons in recent memory, but still not bad. Kazuhito Hayashi, did he lose a single game? He did end up losing some games down the stretch, but 22-2 on the season is absolutely insane. Like, he only lost 2 games that he started. 2.37 ERA, 0.98 whip. His whip was below 1 still. His ERA was below 2.5, which is also crazy. Kazuhito Hayashi likely won a Cy Young this season, unless somebody else broke out. But damn, 32 games started, 22 quality starts, and a very good FIP, below 3. That's insane. So Kazuhito Hayashi is already going to become one of our best pitchers. He's got a 39-4 career record and a below 3 ERA. He's been fantastic. Vincent Tan actually had a pretty good second half based on some of his numbers. I think they have improved quite a bit. A 3.75 ERA, 1.29 whip. That's not bad. Not bad at all. He is only in his 3rd season, and he is getting better technically every year in terms of ERA and whip, so that's good. His quality starts have been pretty similar. His WAR wasn't as good as last year, though. He has his FIP dropped off a little bit, so his FIP is the only thing that changed a bit. All right. And then Kenny Rabu in his first season, not the best. I probably won't go to this guy too often in the playoffs. I could send him down and call back up Vincent Chang, but we'd have to move Walter Jung back into starting pitcher role probably if we did that. Irabu started 32 games, had 16 quality starts, which ain't bad, but his FIP was high and all that. So not the best year for Irabu, but it is his first season. He's only 23, so I don't blame him too much. In terms of the relievers, Walter Jung, 12-8. Not the best ERA, not the best whip. But is it an improvement from when he was a starter? Not really. Not really. Actually, his FIP was really good again, though. Like, he always has a good FIP rating, which is weird, but he doesn't look the best on paper. So, Walter Jung, interesting pitcher nonetheless. Leonard Soto, solid numbers. I would say. Eric Yamashita, pretty good numbers. Eric Yamamoto, really good numbers actually, and a great record too of 5-1. So Eric Yamamoto might have been one of our best relievers. Vincent Chang got called back up. I don't know why this adjusts my roster when I didn't even do that. Vincent Chang got called back up after his little stint in AAA. He was doing good as we saw, so it does make sense he's back up here again. Philip Chung, yeah, he was okay. He was actually okay. He's going to be going to arbitration potentially this year, though. He is getting closer to being a free agent. But this was probably one of his best years, which is nice. Tommy Wong was pretty solid. Only did 12 innings, but still was really solid. Tom Koo was great. There is a chance that Tom Koo could be a reliever of the year, but I don't think he will because he was injured for quite a while. 37 saves compared to last year's 49, but obviously he played a lot less games. Had a good ERA, good whip, and his FIP was nice too. He's already 29 years old. That's crazy. All these guys are aging way too quick. So there's the pitching. In terms of the batting, this is going to be interesting to see. Yamazaki hit 20 home runs, 67 RBIs, a 283 average. So not too bad. An improvement in average from last season. Less home runs, less RBIs, but he also did... actually, he had more at-bats than last year despite playing... Actually, he played right around the same amount of games because he was injured for a little bit. But yeah, he's been good. 816 OPS and a 6.2 WAR, which is the best of his career. So yeah, Yamazaki's playing really good, which is nice to see, especially considering a few years ago he missed a lot of time due to his injury where he only played the 25 games. Yokoyama, 286. I like that a lot from Yokoyama. 71 RBIs. Pretty similar numbers to last year. A little bit lower average, but still solid enough numbers that it's going to help out the team a lot. So, yeah, Yokoyama and Yamazaki both did their job. Kevin Sato obviously missed a lot of time due to injury, but 21 home runs, 65 RBIs at 305 average. The top of the order did really well. Really, really well. Sato is 32 years old and he's a pending free agent, which is kind of scary. I don't know how much money I'm going to have to spend to get this guy to stay with us, so we might have to find a way to get some cap space freed up to get him back, or else he might be gone, which would be substantial for this team. But yeah, this was one of the best years of his career for sure, and 942 OPS as well. So very happy with Sato. If he would have played the full season, he probably would have had more home runs and RBIs than he's ever had before as well. Tom Lee at 279. Damn, the top four. Fantastic numbers. 23 home runs, 89 RBIs, and that good average. Tom Lee has been getting better every single year, and he's been a very consistent 20 home run guy ever since he started playing in the major leagues. 835 OPS. Surprisingly, I'm more impressed with our offense than our pitching this year. So, shout out to Tom Lee. Theodore Lee at 270. So, the first five guys in our order are all above 270? Yeah, wow. So Theodore Lee, a really good year for him. This is his third season. Career high in home runs are tied for career high. Career high in RBIs. His average was a little bit lower than last year, but not by much. Same with the OPS. The WAR was the best of his career, though. So shout out to Theodore Lee. He has arbitration coming up. Yikes. Some of these guys are going to cost a lot of money. David Sasaki at 263, so he's the first one below at 270. However, 263 isn't too bad. 26 home runs, 82 RBIs. A big breakout year for David Sasaki as well. Yeah. Career high home runs and RBIs. And he's getting paid 5.8 for the next few years, so at least he's locked up. But an 812 OPS. Yeah. Really liking the stats from a lot of these batters. Charles Nomo, the 232 average isn't the best, but obviously it's not the worst in the world. 26 home runs as well and 80 RBIs. So a career high in home runs almost. His RBI count dropped off a little bit. Did play 6 less games. His average was less than last year's. OPS was still at least above 700. So a solid year from Nomo, but he's kind of struggling in terms of his batting average. Like, I really wanted to get that better, but that might be too hard for him to do. So Nomo was solid. Oka at 288. I like to see that, especially from a guy that I was not expecting. So Stanley Oka had a good year. Really good year. His home runs were less than last year, same as his RBIs. Did play a lot less games, but his average was much better. His OPS was a little bit better. and his WAR was the best of his career. So Oka is definitely on the right trajectory to becoming a good shortstop for his team. And then Vincent Seo at 268, he actually led the team, I think, in home runs. 29 home runs, 88 RBIs, and a 268 average. So Vincent Seo breaking out this year. He's only getting paid for 2 more years. His average was less than last year, but his OPS was better because of the home runs and all that. Yeah, we are starting to get guys to actually hit, which is awesome. Like, literally, our batting order, the only guy that was below a 260 was Charles Nomo. Everybody else was fantastic in batting average. Then in terms of the bench, not as much probably. William A. Bayek at 211, not the best, but it was his first season. He just needs to get his vision and discipline his contact better. Walter Choi, since getting called up, not really the best to be honest either. He was playing good in AAA, that's why I called him up, but not so good here. Takahashi, not bad, low average, but good RBIs. Taguchi, not the best either, but 4 home runs off the bench, which is not bad. Looks like Chung got sent down. Yeah, it looks like Chung got sent down because of the call-up of Chang, my guess, right? I'm guessing that's what happened. Yeah, William Chung got sent back down for no reason, even though he was technically our best bench bat. So we might have to call him back up. He is playoff eligible, which is good. So if I call him up, I would have to send down... Who is it that I'd have to send down? Who is it that I was sending down? Was it the relief pitcher? Who is the guy that I wanted to send back down? I am really confused now all of a sudden. Oh, it was Walter Cho, who got actually sent back down as well. Walter Cho was not really good when he called back up. It's probably because, yeah, I guess because of the September call-ups, it automatically sends down people again. That's kind of dumb. And I might leave it the same, to be honest, but I am actually going to make... we should actually make that one roster move here. Sending down Walter Choi again. I think, yeah, he will probably go through waivers, but maybe send him down. Call back William Chung and back up. Trying to think if that's the logical option. Actually, I could send down A-Bye because I don't know if he's good enough really to help us out in a postseason appearance. You know what? Yeah, we'll send... I can't even send him back down. Remove from playoff roster? But a replacement must be added. Yeah, that's what I thought. So if I add William Chung back to our playoff roster, and I send... Where are you? Send down William A. Bayek back to playoff roster. Remove from playoff roster. We are good. There you go. I just want Chung back up here. Okay, final few things. We got some league leaders, some awards, some standings stuff that we'll take a look at. So first and foremost, the standings. We finished 96 and 66, which was apparently the best team in the entire league. The next closest had 90 wins. But we scored 775 runs this year, allowed 613. We were 31 and 21 against the division, 46 and 35 against home field, 50 and 31 on the road. Wow. 41 and 24 during the day, 55 and 42 at night. Okay. That's pretty good. Our team average was a 267. We had a 987 fielding and 3.57 ERA. Okay. A lot of our stats look pretty good. I don't know where they stack up compared to the rest of the league, though. Team rankings. In terms of batting average, we were the 11th best team, so obviously our average might not be that good, but I was impressed with a lot of the people on our team in terms of batting average this season. Let's see what else we got here. Runs, we were 5th. Hits, we were 11th again. Doubles and stuff like that, we're not going to be up there really. So home runs, we were tied for 3rd. Number 1 was the Blue Jays. Runs batted in, we were 5th. The Brewers were number 1. What else we got here? Let's see what we got. ERA, we are number 2. The Guardians were number 1 in terms of pitching. So we are probably one of the best all-around teams in certain terms of that. We had 6 complete games this year, 13 shutouts, 59 saves. We were one of the best teams in terms of saves. Interesting. Okay. So there is all that. In win percentage, we were the best team in baseball by far. A lot of other teams fell off too. The Cardinals were 562 win percentage. Cubs were 556. Same with the Brewers and Guardians and the Dodgers. Damn, okay. But we were the best team in baseball, which is awesome. All right. Now comes some interesting stuff. We got awards and league leaders. Let's see who led in stuff in league. So Kazuhito Hayashi led in pretty much a lot of different things. That's the reason why we got this notification. It's the only notification we got. So he led in win percentage, he led in wins, he led in whip, and he led in WAR. So yeah, likely he just won himself a Cy Young because of that. So did we have anybody else up there in terms of getting close to being number one and stuff? Nobody in home runs, RBIs, nobody. Guess we didn't really have anybody up there in terms of a lot of things other than the pitching. Because there's Kazuhito Hayashi. He had 2 more wins than Easton Solis, who's been a good pitcher for the Angels so far in the series. And then, yeah, he was number 1 in losses. Number 2 in ERA behind only Fernando Avalos. Wow. Strikeouts, Parker Iwamura was almost number 1. Complete games, Vincent Tan was up there for tied with Eloy Collado. Wow. All right. And walks allowed, number 1. Whip, number 1. Pitching WAR, number 1. Iwamura was number 4. Wow. All right. So there's that. Now we could take a look at the awards. Did Kazuhito Hayashi win a Cy Young? Likely he did. That's why we have an award. And yes, it is the case. We also have another award, though, too, which is interesting. So Kazuhito Hayashi is your Cy Young winner this year in 2036. And Kazuhito Hayashi also won AL MVP. Let's go. Kazuhito Hayashi an MVP. I don't think I've seen a starting pitcher win an MVP in a while. Because Walking Irizarry was a DH apparently, and Riley Green's a center fielder. So Kazuhito Hayashi an MVP. That's crazy. Wow, most valuable player. Look at his repertoire already, and he's only played this many years. Fantastic. 2 All-Star games, a Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, and an MVP at the age of 26. And we have him locked up for $11.4 million. Let's go, Kaz. Crazy. He just kind of came out of nowhere like that. So, Kazuhito Hayashi, MVP. Cy Young, of course, Kazuhito as well, beating out Easton Solis and Ryan Quintana. Batting title went to this BJ Christian. Okay. Anybody else that was up there for potentially winning an award? Yamazaki got a gold glove. So Yamazaki's now up to 2 gold gloves in his career. Not bad. Anybody else? Probably not, right? And no. Wait, actually, I think somebody was close. Yeah, David Sasaki was close to getting one for right fielders. And then Silver Sluggers. Do we have any Silver Sluggers this year? But I am really impressed with Kazuhito Hayashi. I didn't expect a pitcher to win an MVP. But he beats out Nolan Schnell, who led in... what is this? Led in home runs. Oh, it's kind of glitched out because the fact that Kaz won it with wins and losses. For some reason, the 312 was in wins-loss category. 31 was in ERA. And strikeouts was at 122. I was confused. But he beat out Wyatt Langford as well. Wow. All right. So we are playing the winner of Houston or Texas. Let's take a look at both their rosters because I do want to kind of see who we would rather face, and then we'll see who we end up facing because they're in a best of 3. Regardless, it's against a divisional opponent. So Houston looks like a problem for the most part. We know that they've won World Series as well. It doesn't say when they've won World Series. That kind of sucks. I wish it did. But yeah, obviously Steve Cortez being there, we know Houston is very good, and they've won before. So we got to hope that they somehow lose to Texas, unless Texas is actually good as well. Like I said, if Houston ends up winning like the wild card, they could win the World Series. They're on playoff push for roster strategy, it looks like. Or is that us? Yeah, that's what their role is. I didn't even realize that thing on the top. It's behind my name, but interesting. In terms of the Texas Rangers, where are they? Down here. They also look not as strong in terms of pitching. Still good pitching though. And then their batting is definitely, I'd say, a lot weaker. They do have good players, but they definitely look a lot weaker than Houston does. You know, they technically had the better spot. All right, well, we're going to find out who we face. Yeah, we got to find out who we face here. So let's sim through these. And we should be able to find out soon who we are facing. It's going to be Houston. Oh, no. I think Houston's going to somehow find a way to upset us based on prior stats. But, oh, boy. I beat them in 3 games. So, went to game 3. Houston. Friggin' Christ, no. That's not good. I will show you guys what Houston looks like, and then that'll be it for this episode. But here's the Houston Astros. Their starting pitching, to be honest, is not the strongest. They have some good players, but it's definitely a little bit of a weaker point. However, some of their guys are actually playing pretty good. Their bullpen is definitely not as strong as ours either. So I think we got them beaten pitching. But I think batting is where they're really good, if I remember right. Let's see, where are you again, Houston? Oh, down here. Yeah, so their batting is really good. So that if we contain their batting with our good pitching, we should be able to do some damage, and we should be able to hit against their pitching as well. However, last year I think it was like that as well in the playoffs when we played against the Yankees, and the Yankees beat us. So we got to be a little bit weary about that. But yeah, they have some really good batters. Like Orelvis Martinez had a .615 average in that wild card series, which is insane. So they're top guns we got to shut down for sure. For sure. If we do not shut them down, we're going to have a really tough time. And yeah, we know Steve Cortez is insane. He's won an MVP. Yeah, wow. Great player. Well, anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Tokyo Tropic Turtles Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to the ALDS against the Houston Astros as we look to beat them and go to the ALCS for the first time. If we find a way to beat them, we'd play at either Boston or Cleveland to see if we could get a chance to go to the World Series. So anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.